administrators of each member and posting a copy of the meeting notice on the public bulletin board of all members. I direct the secretary to enter in the minutes of this meeting, the advance written notice of this meeting and statement. All right, can we have a roll call?
Frank Bellino,
Here.
Ricardo Lanos,
Here.
Jeanette Larison, Harry Delgado,
Here.
Michael Drulis,
Here.
Joseph Zanga,
Here.
Mayor Heck. I didn't see him coming back. Glenn Kurtz, Leon Sokol,
Here.
Scott Recant,
Here.
Joe Manzo.
Here.
Did Donna Setzer come in? No. James Gote, Sean Kelly,
Here.
Dominic Sinelli,
Here.
Robin Rassiopi,
Here.
Karen Waters,
Here.
Sean Walsh,
Here.
and I believe Mr. Cradaville is here as well.
All right. Now I know it has administrator's report next. I do know that Joe has to hop off for a second. Is there a way we can do that first?
Yeah, you can move him up, Chair.
All right. Joe, you ready?
Well, yeah, go ahead. I don't have much to say, but go ahead. Since we had a meeting last week, and this is not a formal meeting where we approve bills, there hasn't been, any change in the financial position. We're waiting on a check from one of the member towns for part of the deficit assessment was approved at their meeting on Monday. It's around $66,000. And at this point, that'll obviously be a benefit to us, and I don't see any change in the condition other than what we talked about last week. We're still on track to be a positive cash situation by the end of the year. There's some conversation later on in the meeting about the 2021 audit, which is, I don't know who's going to be on from Holman Frenier. But with respect to 20, that's just a reworking of some numbers for 21. With respect to 22, Glenn and I have provided the staff at HFA everything they've asked for. I don't think there's anything that's still outstanding. It's just a matter of them doing their due diligence and putting together some schedules. I still fully expect to have the 2022 audit. I'm always optimistic, so I'm saying by the end of the year, but unless HFA says something different, when it's their turn to speak. And that's the report I have for today, Chair. We have a regular meeting scheduled for next Wednesday also. A regular
yes.
December meeting? Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, administrator's report.
Yeah, but maybe you want to move Mr. Gote up as well, Chair, since to not have him stick around after closed session.
Yeah, Glenn, before Joe leaves, a question that you may be able to answer now or but get to us fairly soon. When the 2021 assessment was done, the report we received from you and Glenn indicated that the deficit was $2,093,000.
97, 2,097,000.
Right, and that was mainly comprised of 1.1 million in additional excess insurance costs that was not included in the original budget, and about 933,000, if I remember correctly, in claims that exceeded what was budgeted in the original budget. We now have had the auditor revise that from the 2,997,000 to 2.4 million roughly. Can we get a breakdown as to what the components of that are?
Sure, Glenn and I can work on that. I mean,
Yeah.
the majority.
Yeah.
Because in negotiating, I'm asking because in negotiating settlements with the various towns, it gives us more clout if we're able to say that this went towards excess, for example, and you got the benefit of excess coverage and now you're not paying your share of the premium. Just as an example, but that would be very helpful to get the identical breakdown for the new revised 2021 deficit.
Glenn, let me ask you a quick question, Glenn. So we had a by member town breakdown of the 2,097,000, and I've been reporting to the committee on the status of who's paid that and who's not, and there's still a couple members who owe some on that. We have a similar breakdown, Glenn, by member for the 2.4, basically whatever the $300,000 addition is. Question,
Yes,
I guess.
well, having just received that report in, it's being compiled now. But it would be broken down by member, by line of coverage. But I think Leon wants it even more panned down to what is going to the cost of excess and what is going to the cost of claims
Yes,
and what is going to IBNR, correct, Leon?
correct. That would be basically what it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's the same question you asked on the email this morning, right, Leon?
yeah, I'm following up on the email that
Okay,
Scott sent this morning.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions for Joe? You good?
I'll hang on till 12:30 until my other meeting starts. Thank you.
Mr. Gotay, would you like to go next?
You're muted, Jim.
There were no services provided in the last week, obviously, or in the last month for that matter. Just want to make the membership aware. PIOSH has published its, at least it's stated, its 5-year compliance strategic plan with OSHA. They're going to be target beginning in the year 2024 through 2029. The number 1 target is going to be fire departments. The number 2 target will be. And from an inspection perspective, the OSHA top 10 for the year, fall protection was the most cited standard, and know that 4 out of the top 8 violations that they focused on had to do with fall protection, ladders, scaffolding, lack of training for employees. Just be aware of that. That completes my report unless someone has any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Glenn, you ready for the administrator's report?
Yes, Chair. Just to let everybody know, I circulated after last meeting the report from HFA with respects to the 2021 audit. When I reviewed the back schedules, I had a follow-up call with Patty and subsequently Lauren, and noticed a discrepancy on a Schedule C. So she is in the process of correcting that discrepancy. We went over it. It does not affect the overall numbers in any particular year or the totals for the JIF. But since this report is going to be probably the subject of litigation going forward, I wanted to make sure that correction was made before we filed it with the state and for other members to see. Unfortunately, Patty and Lauren, Patty's at the doctor's today, but she couldn't attend. But she is making that adjustment, and once I get the final, I will circulate to the members. It is my understanding none of the numbers overall will change in any particular year or in the total. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. Other than that, I circulated a list of claim payments through the month of December, broken down by coverages, workers' compensation claimants, claims paid through the end of November, totaling $2,981,873. That is broken down by member. just to give you an idea of who the members are, we are currently paying claims on and how it affects our negotiations with them going forward with respects to them getting on board to collect the deficit. And then I then broke that down by fund year to let you know where the money is going. Behind that is a claim payments of the general claim account broken down again by fund member. And again, broken down by fund year for your review. So that I will be working with Mr. Sokol and Mr. Leon, Recant on moving forward. The only other item I have for discussion right now, Chair, I wanted to make everyone aware. We did release a formal proposal to North Brunswick, who was interested in receiving a proposal. Their broker has it. I understand she is discussing it with the borough. I believe we came in a little high, but from what I understand, the borough's current program has deductibles on all lines of coverage on the GL and AL, in addition to the POL and EPL coverages, whereas the JIF is currently first dollar in general liability and auto liability. So I'll reach out to her and see if I can find out a little more information as to where the costs break down and whether or not if they would entertain a higher deductible with the JIF, and then
Good morning, David.
when we do it, then would be subject to the board approval. So
Oh, I've only been here a half hour. I'm listening. I'm listening to a stupid. I gotta mute myself here.
All right.
and that's all I have right now, Chair, for open session.
Glenn, question for you, through the chair,
Yes.
please. So, being that we're in the last 2 or 3 weeks of the calendar year, what's the expectation of timeline turnaround in terms of discussion with North Brunswick and when they have to make a decision, and when, until what time?
They could probably, I understand they had a workshop meeting this week, a regular council meeting next week. Some guys will hold off, Michael, and have it deferred to an independent a committee, and the committee will make the recommendation to the board. But like I said, the risk manager or broker risk manager there was discussing it with the borough. I hope to have feedback either this afternoon or tomorrow to see the likelihood of that. So,
Well, I guess the substance of my question is, what is a calendar timeline in which they need to respond by
they would
if they
need
were to
let-
join for 2024?
They would have to give us notice, give me enough notice to get it circulated to you for a verbal communication, yes or no. And then it would be done at our reorganization meeting for a January 1 renewal. So
Okay,
it
so,
would be subject to.
okay,
So if I circulate and say they want to join and circulate it to you guys and I get a favorable response, it would be subject to board approval.
so then with them as a candidate, if they wanted to move forward, their current coverage lasts them. How is the coverage managed if the coverage expires on December 31st for them?
If the coverage expires for them on December 31st and they have a verbal commitment of their intent to withdraw, and from what I understand, they gave their proper notice and they were on a renewal cycle. If I have to call a special meeting and say you're accepted 1/1, I would do that. If it can be done before the next board meeting on the 20th, I'll do it then. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
Glenn, are they included in the coverage we received for the excess insurance?
I have numbers for them separated out. They are not included in that number.
Call you
that
right
was
back from the
presented.
meeting.
But if they decide and let us know in the next week that they want to join, what's the procedure to get them included in the excess coverage? And how does that affect our budget?
I would have to notify the excess carrier that they are a potential applicant for 2024. They already have all the underwriting information and have quoted it, but it's not included in our budget. So if they join, our budget would have to be amended to include them.
Okay.
Any other questions for Glenn? All right. So I'll need a motion to go into closed.
I'll move it.
Is that Harry?
Yeah.
Second.
Is that Joe?
Yes.
Frank Bellino?
Yes.
Joe Zanga?
Yes.
Harry Delgado?
Yes.
Ricardo Lanos?
Yes.
Michael Drulis?
Yes.
Yes, stay.
Glenn, I think that you need to put the commissioners and council in a breakout room for them to discuss, I guess, personnel matters. And then we would come get you to do the rest of the closed session meeting.
Okay.
Glenn, do you need us to stay?
Now you can drop off, Jim.
Okay, see you next week.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Philip? You might be back in the waiting room. So are they going to open or are they continuing with closed? I see you as not joined. So I can join. Okay.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Charlie's back.
All right. Is everybody back in? Glenn, we good?
Dominic's here, Robin's here, Charlie's here.
All right.
I'm here, Glenn.
Everybody, Chair. Is Sean Walsh here?
Yes.
Yeah, he's here. Yeah, he's here. All right. Do you want to run through Mr. Jaffe's communication he sent over?
I got an email earlier from Jonathan who said unfortunately he wasn't going to be able to make the meeting today. I circulated his latest memorandum or press release he put together with respects to the JIF's relationship with QualCare. It was in my email this morning, basically stating, you know, our relationship with QualCare goes back to 2021. Estimated savings using the QualCare network of $13 million on workers' comp claims, specifically regarding utilizing their network, as well as the wonderful service they are providing for the JIF in getting employees immediately to the proper care through their nurse case management department, and basically how utilizing this service not only keeps your employees healthy and gets them back to work in a healthy condition, but is the right thing to do by your employees and get them taken care of so they can take care of the public. But it's there for your review. He expects to release this on Friday. If you have any updates or anything else you'd like to see, I know Mr. Drulis added a line or two, but if anybody else has anything they'd like to add, let me know before he does his absolute release on Friday. Other than that, he expects his next avenue would be to tackle the JIF's relationship with dynamic testing, who the JIF utilizes to manage the CDL component of your employees. All the drivers who are required to have CDL licenses are required to have an active license, be randomly tested. If tested and tested positive, they're referred to proper treatment or proper counsel, and I'm going to make that contact between him, and he's going to tackle that with dynamic testing, probably, hopefully by the end of the year, if not early January.
All right. You have any old business?
None at this time, Chair.
New business?
The only new business I discussed under my report was with respects to the North Brunswick. I will reach out to her and follow up and see if I can push her along and hopefully get that wrapped up prior to the crammed up week in between Christmas and New Year's. So I will definitely reach out to her this week.
Okay. Ready to open for audience comments?
Did Charlie not come in?
I see his thing in there, but it's usually him and a number, right? Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh.
Thanks, Charlie. All right. We have a motion to adjourn if anybody has anything else.
Motion. Second.
Frank Polino,
Yes.
Joe Zanga,
Yes.
Harry Delgado,
Yes.
Ricardo Lanos.
Yes.
Michael Julius.
Yes.
So we're still on for next, the 20th, correct, Chair?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, see you.